Rise and shine, it's time for D is pajama.
Capital D. All drama.
D, baby. And guess what this week is? Wait, where's your mic?
It's right here, Shannon.
I think you gotta hold it
I
up.
have to hold it up. Okay.
Yeah. But
Okay,
wait, I'm
that's
just
fine.
wondering, do you think it's gonna make noise though?
I
Like
don't
if
think
you
so.
jingle jangle it or not?
I have a very steady hand.
Okay.
You
Steady,
should leave all
steady
this
as a
in.
rock. Not me. I'm always shaking. Shaking Shanny. My cousin's always like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "This is just how I am."
That's not a good thing to
No,
always
it's not
be
good.
asked.
Yes, all the time, all the time. But this week is the 1-year anniversary of Dia's for Drama.
Wow, I didn't know. What an honor to be the guest
Yep,
on this one.
that's right. I thought it would be perfect,
Oh,
perfectly
that's so
fitting.
flattering.
Yeah, and my 51st episode, 'cause
Okay.
I only missed 2 weeks the whole
Good for
year.
you.
I did it. I did it. So happy 1 year to all of us in the
Everybody. This is a
Dia's for Drama
celebration for all of
community.
us because
That's
we've all
right.
gotten a year of it.
Yeah, you've all had to endure a year of D. We still have to come up with a name for my listeners. There's
I
there's
I
been
like
quite a
D's
few.
nuts. I like D's nuts.
So you really do like that?
I think that that's the best. That's the bar. Somebody beat it. Like somebody come up with something that's better than D's nuts, and I'll stop talking about it.
Well, one of my listeners, shout out Falcon, she said, like instead of tea bag, D
D
bag.
bag.
So
Well,
it's
that
like
is already
douchebag
like
slash.
you don't have to say, well, okay, like what about teabagging without a T? Because we already called douchebags D bags.
Yeah, so it's like kind of both. It's like
Yeah,
I think it's a play on both.
sure.
But I feel like D's nuts is like
I
I think
know
it's
nobody
funny.
wants to. I think it's very clever because it's see what it is, and I'll explain the joke, which always makes it funnier. It's
Yes.
not the typical Deeze. It's Dee apostrophe
Apostrophe.
s. The nuts belong to D.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you guys are all my nutty
yeah,
listeners,
exactly. And they're all nuts for D.
and they're all nuts for D.
That's the implement. See, it worked. It's just there's
It
so
works on
many
so
levels
many
to this.
levels, so many
I'm
levels.
gonna get Bernie looped into this. I know he'll back me up.
Oh, he'll love it. He'll
He'll
love
start
it.
arguing. You don't want Bernie and I on the same side of a line. You'll never win.
Maybe we should do a D is for debate, and I'll line up
Everybody
all the
comes.
suggestions of what people have written in, and then we
Uh,
can debate of why which one is the best.
that'd be a great one to kick the year off with, honestly.
Yeah. Well, because that's what I'm gonna do. All of you guys from I think 2 episodes ago, remember I was saying I'm gonna take a little bit of break in December and then come out
Good
with
for you.
season 2. I think I'll do like a few mini episodes every Tuesday. Like I might just do like one situation by myself, maybe some like holiday themes or something to
Yeah,
keep
that's
you
fun.
guys fed, to keep you
Mhm.
fed. But today we are going to do an episode basically where it all started. Airplane etiquette, where D's nuts really took off.
This is a topic that I think opened up my understanding of you as a person on a deeper level because I think the world of you. You're one of my favorite people just in the world in general. But
Stop.
finding out how you approach decorum on a plane, the unwritten societal rules of how
Yes.
we are expected to behave in one of
Yeah.
the most tense pressure cooker settings that we're all
Mhm.
constantly exposed to. And like, it's always weird to me that it's just a normal part of our society that we all get into a bus that then goes up into the sky. And
Oh,
sometimes
I
they have
know.
food on the bus and you can watch The
Yeah,
Office on that bus and you're in the sky. It's
I
incredible. And we're all
know.
just like,
I can't think about it too much.
sure, no, I understand. What I think I've told you this story one time. This is back before weed gummies were like state legal. So any gummies that you bought had like no oversight of them on measurements or whatever. And I took
Mhm.
one that was way over what I would normally have now. And I was higher than the plane. And the second, and like, I actually ran into a friend of mine at the airport before I got on the plane, and we were having like what I thought was a very normal conversation. And as soon as
Mhm.
I got on the plane, he texted me. I was like, dude, are you high right now? I was like, yeah, why? He's like, your eyes are redder than the devil's dick, dude. You look fucking baked. And as
Wait,
soon as he said
really?
that, I looked up the aisle of the plane and it was at night, so it was dark and the lights were all off. And I was
Mhm.
suddenly just like, I'm in a metal tube. I'm in a metal tube in the sky. There's
Oh,
nothing I
yeah.
can do. There's no control I have over this situation. And the rest of that flight was me just white knuckle on the armrest of just like, you're powerless. You're powerless,
Oh,
bro. There's nothing you
I
can do right now.
bet. I have
So,
never, ever, ever been high on a plane, and my mom is always like, "Oh, just take a gummy because, like, you'll get to go to sleep," and I'm like, "No, I know I will freak the fuck out."
yeah, no, I sometimes weed makes you the funniest person alive, and then other times it makes you the scaredest person alive. So
Yes.
I would not
One way or the other. Especially if I'm alone, like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
But
no,
to
no.
kind of get back to what we were talking about, when we did that one show where you revealed your behavior on an airplane,
Mhm.
it was the most shocked I've ever been by you. It truly floored me, and it was great content. And it actually was the birth of Shannon.
Yes.
Shannon. That's the first time I ever did that. And it was completely just like, I didn't have that in my back pocket. It just fell out of my mouth.
Yeah. I don't know if I mean, I don't think I have, like, any new listeners, honestly, but if you guys did miss that, it was a live show on the old podcast we were on, and I revealed that well, my boyfriend, Max, told me that I should bring this up, and I was like, "What? No, like, why? I don't see what's the problem." And so he's like, "No, no, like, you need to bring this to the podcast." And, yeah, you guys were jaws were on the floor, but I put up which I have stopped doing, disclaimer.
Big sacrifice. Oh, go ahead and tell him.
It is! I'll put my little toesies on the back of the arm rest in front of me. Socked toesies. Just this one time, I was sockless, but only because I was extremely hot, okay? I thought I was gonna pass out, I was so hot. So that was
Okay,
one
everybody. Okay, cut me some
exception.
slack, all right? I grossly overstepped social bounds because I was uncomfortable.
Yeah,
So I got
yes!
my sweaty feet, I almost gagged just saying that, up in somebody else's business. So it's fine.
Exactly. I mean, haven't you learned this yet? Rules for thee, not for me.
Not for
Okay?
rules
Not
for thee, not for
not
D.
for D. And that's how I live my life. So, we're not gonna deliberate this again, but yes, I do not do this anymore. But I wanted to talk about a few other airplane etiquettes.
And I think you got the perfect person for this too, because I'm not made for airplanes. I'm not
No.
designed to be on them. It's like you might as well have a horse in there. It's a
Yeah.
miracle that I make it work every time I'm in. And part of the reason you and I were on so vastly different sides of this chasm is that
Mhm.
my whole approach to being on a plane is making myself as small and as if I don't exist as possible. Like I will
Mm.
when the stewardesses, flight attendants, the knights of the sky, I like to call them now.
Yes.
When they come around and ask for drink orders, I will try to get my drink orders in advance of just like, hey, this is what I'm going to need for the entire flight because I don't want them to have to think about me for the rest of the flight. I
Wait,
just want
really?
I'm exaggerating a little bit. I just don't want
Oh.
to
I
exist
was
for
like,
the
I didn't know
flight.
you could do that. That's like special treatment right
Oh no,
there.
you can't. No, you can absolutely just be like, you can order up front for sure. You can't go overboard, but
Now,
like
do
you can
you
ask.
get alcohol?
Yeah, you can ask for 2 beers, 2 Cokes, whatever.
Mhm, mhm.
They'll like if they're. I had like with I've noticed with sodas because those are free. If they're low, they won't give you a whole can sometimes. But
Yeah,
usually, if you
yeah,
just
yeah.
ask for the can, they'll give it to you.
Yeah, that's what I usually do.
Like beer because you have to pay for it. They never mind. Like if you just pay for 2 beers up front, you can do it that way.
Oh, savvy.
Yeah.
Little tricks of the trade. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
But I basically just do that so that I can just sort of like turn myself
Disappear.
into this very uncomfortable elbows tucked pencil position and then just
Mm.
use whatever media I brought with me and then just try to zen the fuck out for the entire experience because there's no way for
Now
me to be comfortable. It's just not going to
no.
happen.
No, I mean, I can't imagine because there's no way for me to even be comfortable, so and you've got, like, 7 inches on me, so
I just try to honestly, I try to get, like I can make it work. Ideally, if the middle seat is empty, I take and I prefer a window seat just because I'm a child that way, and I just like to look out at the sky,
Yeah.
see all them clouds and all that stuff down there.
Oh, you're a
Um,
window boy.
yeah, because like, again, the aisle doesn't really help me, I can kind of, like,
Mm,
shimmy to the side, I can kinda, like, turn my knees out a little bit, but I'm still crammed in there like sardines.
yeah, because otherwise the cart is hitting your knees.
Yeah, I'm in the way, whatever I do. So if I'm in that window seat, I can kind of just take up more space towards the window and just
Mhm.
kind of like diagonally lounge, and it gives me a little bit more room to exist. But for
Yeah.
like I said, the name of the game for me is just zoning out and just waiting for it to be over.
Yep. Well, I used to be a window girl back in the day because I like to, kinda rest my head, but
Mhm.
now that I really don't like having to ask people to get up to go to the bathroom. I like have being able to
Yeah,
be in control of that.
that is the biggest advantage of the aisle seat for sure.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
I also just
You
try not to go to the bathroom when I'm up there, but I also you take way longer flights than I do. Like, most commonly, these days, almost the only flight I ever take is from California to Oak or from California, from Burbank to Oakland for work. So,
Oh, okay.
otherwise, like, I just don't have that many reasons to go to a lot of other
Oh,
places.
yeah, and that's not that long, like, you can be uncomfortable for what, like an hour
Yeah,
and
no,
a
that
half
flight's
or
nothing.
something?
It's like Oakland's barely an hour. You go up and you go down.
Yep. Well, you said that you were going to Vegas for the
Yeah,
holidays 'cause you're avoiding the planes.
Jackie and I are gonna drive, just because we prefer that as for we could fly, but it's not that bad of a drive, and it just kinda lets us have more flexibility with what we bring. We like to buy our food and drinks before we get to town because Vegas can be so expensive. So just like whatever we
Oh.
want to have stashed in the
Oh, yeah,
hotel room, we'll
like
just buy in
groceries
advance
and
there.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because once you're like, you can go off strip, obviously, and go to a normal grocery store, but like, we just prefer to pull up to the hotel. We already have everything loaded, and then bam, we're done. We can go out and start having fun.
And what do you guys usually do when you're there?
I'm very big on the scene, just people. I love people watching. I'll gamble a little bit, but not like that's not what I'm going there for. So
Yeah.
it kind of we kind of rotate it. I'm very into going to shows now. I went to my
Ooh,
first show
fun.
the last time I was there, and now I'm like, "Oh, this is why you come to Vegas.
Yes.
This is awesome. This style of show is the way they do it, the tone that they do it is just so different and unique and big and bombastic, and like there's no subtlety about how they're doing these shows, and there's something really refreshing about that.
Yeah, yeah. Cirque du Soleil, have you done that one?
That's the one that Jackie is pushing for us to go to, and I don't have a better option this time
Yeah.
for that. Like, I can't think of a better one, so we'll probably do O. That's the one she really wants us to see.
Oh, I've heard that one's amazing.
Yeah, and I've done Omega Mart, she hasn't, so we're going back to Omega Mart. Or I'm going back to Omega Mart, but I'm very excited to show that to her because I know that's gonna blow her mind. And we're
I gotta
doing
see
a
that one.
Golden Knights game on the second night that we're there, which I'm stoked about because I've heard those games are crazy.
What is it?
It's their hockey team, and they have a
Oh,
pro
okay.
hockey team, and they're playing the Ottawa Senators, but I've heard from everybody that's gone to them, it's like they turn it into a Las Vegas show with a hockey game going on while you're
Fun.
there, so super stoked for that. But, yeah, for, like, Jackie's heyday of, like, going there was definitely about, like, the clubs and DJs and, like, the party scenes and all of that. And my
Mhm.
policy with most, like, I'll wait in a line, but I like to know it's a line that has a controlled time. Like, I don't like waiting in a line where it's just like, you could just be here for an hour, you could be in here for 20 minutes. There's no
Oh,
way to
yeah.
tell. I don't like being in those lines.
No, 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 no. Agreed.
I mean, the bummer side of that, to kind of loop us back to air travel, is we were going to go to Thanksgiving with Jackie's family, and we were very excited to see them, but they've all just relocated back to like their main domicile in
Yeah.
Florida. So like the whole family's back together, and they've just got a ton going on. There's a lot of moving parts for them, so they just asked us to push, and we'll probably go out and see them in the spring. But
Yeah, well,
I'm
travel just sucks this time of year anyway, and then it's raining here in LA, and then just everything going on with the government and stuff. It's just, like, does not seem fun getting on a plane right now.
that was kind of the one piece of relief for me. Obviously, wanted to see Jackie's family, but there was a little bit of a sigh of relief of like, oh, thank God we're not going to have to fly across the country while air traffic is at an all-time low. It's just pure
Mhm.
chaos. So it's nice to not have to worry about that at least.
I know. We have to go to a wedding tomorrow in Scottsdale, which we're excited about, but just with the rain and everything, I'm crossing my fingers it all goes to plan.
Yeah, yeah. Snobsdale.
Snobsdale, I
Haven't heard
know.
that in a while.
Yeah, and it's gonna be raining there too,
Oh, wow. I didn't
and
think they
cold.
allowed rain in Scottsdale. I thought it was illegal.
No, it's just sunny, 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 sunny. But yeah, I know it's gonna be weird. I don't even know that like it almost never rains there, right?
I mean, I only ever really remember it raining in Arizona in monsoon season, but I guess,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like around this time of year, I guess
Oh.
it did happen, but I feel like it usually peters out here before it gets there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I did a poll and you responded, but
Mhm.
let's see what some other people said first. Do you stand after the plane lands?
Yeah,
And
I wanna hear what everybody else's thing was before I go, because I know you and I actually agree on this.
I know I think we actually agree, which I was surprised about, but I'm glad. We have one airplane etiquette we agree on. Okay, so it says only 8% said yes, 83% said no, and 9% said depends. And I said, DM me. So here's some DMs I got. Depends where I'm sitting and if others are standing in the aisle or not. Sometimes I just half stand in my seat. I'm usually in an aisle seat anyhow, because I am just ready to be standing up. I don't care about getting off quickly. Sometimes I just want to be on my feet already. And then we had some stronger opinions that said the only people who should stand are ones who need to catch a connecting flight and have minutes to get there. Plane boarding slash deboarding etiquette needs a complete overhaul and could talk about it for hours, which I agree. Why are we not boarding the back of the plane first?
Yeah.
Actually, I just thought of the reason why is because of luggage space for carry ons.
Mm. Mm.
Because why, like, the back of the plane doesn't pay as much, so then they shouldn't have the first right to them?
I don't know enough about that because I almost only ever fly Southwest, and that's just a free for all, baby.
Yeah,
That's just get in there and grab what you can.
truly. Yeah, I guess, like which that always is annoying to me too because I'm like, I hate, hate, hate when I have to check my carry-on at the gate
Yeah,
because there's not enough room. I'm like, "Then why did you, like, offer that many bags if you
yeah,
didn't have all the room? Because I guess they assume I guess it's, like, on an assumption base that, like, more people will be checking, but especially on shorter flights, like, most people aren't checking their bags because I don't know. Maybe not. I just feel like shorter flights, people are usually doing, like, weekend trips and stuff.
yeah, or business or whatever. They're not traveling with a lot, but like I also still see people on any flight that I go in doing the most with their carry-ons, and just people somehow bringing on bags that are like that's obviously not going to fit in the overhead. Like there's no
Yes.
way that's going to happen. And you see them trying and there's this like stubborn determination of no, it'll fit. It'll fit. And it's like you've had to have been on a plane before. You
Yeah,
know how big something can be before it doesn't fit in there.
exactly. Some people are just complete morons. But, you gotta respect them for trying. Someone
I don't think
else
I do.
oh,
I don't think I do.
okay.
I think that I can revile them for trying because the idea of like, no, I'm built different. This bag is built different. Like maybe just don't do just check it like you know you're going to have to and save the
Mhm.
Sky Knight some time.
I don't even know how they get onto the plane with that thing. Like, normally,
That's
the person at the front gate would call that out.
yeah, maybe they do that just like out of like just to shame them, just to make
Mm.
them experience that loathing that they know is coming at them from everybody that's
So
watching it happen.
so they'll learn for next time.
Yeah, you know, maybe that's
Like
just
a
how they get their
like a little
sick kid.
kid.
They just love telling passengers they can't do something.
Yeah, a humiliation kink, but from the Opposite.
Oh, now that's a
The reverse.
now that's something. What if people who are doing that have the humiliation cake? "No, I promise it'll fit. Tell me I'm
Promise.
stupid.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm dumb."
Their wife won't do the dominatrix thing, so they have to find it in other ways in life.
"Eric, can we not today? I have to get it from somewhere, Janine. I have to get it
You're
from
not doing
somewhere.
it.
You won't point at my dick and say disappointing, so I have to do this."
And then that's their manipulative way to get their wife to do it because she doesn't want them to do the the suitcase thing anymore.
Now this is the podcast now. This is what we're
Yeah.
talking about. Um, yeah, did you have any others that you wanted to read? Because I do have thoughts
Yeah,
on what
here's
was
another
just said there.
one.
Okay.
Similar to what the last one said, but standing up immediately gives the energy that they're going to rush the aisle and try to get off before me, blatantly disrespecting the natural order of deplaning. When that happens, it turns me into a barbarian energy. When people think their time is somehow more valuable than my time, it's the biggest fuck you and happens every single time.
That's unless you have another one to read, I have a
Rebut,
that
rebut.
that feels like a very selfish way to look at the world. And I think that that
Hmm.
is like you that take says you are so focused on how anyone else's behavior could mildly impact you
Thank
that
you.
you have to turn it in to a moral crusade, that it has
Yes.
to be you're actually a bad person for what you're doing and you're so. And this is kind of the thing of like why I've kind of always felt like it's kind of like a 90s stand-up joke to me at this point, where 90s
Yeah.
stand-up was really based around like Seinfeld observations,
Seinfeld for
right?
sure.
And a lot of that observational humor hinged on never giving a second of deeper thought as to why something is the way that it is. And I
Yes.
think that like we all kind of got this meme going where all these people standing up in the plane think they're going to get off faster. And you're
Mhm.
not like when you look at the people who are usually doing it, it's usually older or middle aged guys who have shitty bones and
Uh-huh.
stiff joints. And that's the
Exactly.
reason, like I said to your poll, it depends
Mm.
because I have been basically maintaining the body posture of a shrimp for the entire time that I've been in this plane seat. So yeah,
Yes.
the first opportunity that I have, especially if it's been a long flight, which is the depends. Like if it's Oakland, I'm fine. I can wait. I'll let there be more space for other people
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get their bags or whatever. But if I've been on a plane for 5 hours, especially if I have the aisle seat, that's the other thing. If I'm in a window seat, I'm not asking people to move so that I can stand up. But if I'm in an
Uh-huh.
aisle seat and my body hurts, I need to stretch. And I'm not
Yep.
trying to get off the plane before anybody else. Hey, guess what? Guess who's really helpful to have for everybody getting their bags out of the aisle? A big
Yeah.
dude. So
Yeah.
just to like, I hand other people their bags while they're waiting, it gets other people off faster. But I think
Mhm.
like we need to let go of this idea that everyone around you all the time is an idiot and they're doing things for stupid reasons. Where like, if
Yes.
you just consider the possibility of, oh, yeah, they're probably stiff. This was that it's not
A
easy to be
long
on an
flight.
airplane. Maybe they have bad knees. And it's like thinking when I was in college in my early to mid 20s, I thought that way more. I always coincidentally was when I was really heavily doing stand up. But then once,
Mm.
you have an ego death or two and you start thinking about the world in different ways and it's just like, no, like people are absent-minded and people aren't really always paying attention to what they're doing, but it's rarely malicious. It's rarely
Yeah.
them being like, "No, me first." It's more like, "Oh my god, I'm so stiff. I need to like relax my shoulders and get the I'd rather have my knees crack now than when I'm trying to cuz here's what I actually despise way more on an airplane. People who
Mhm.
take their sweet ass time. If there is open runway between you and the next
I
person,
know. I'm like,
and you're
"Let's
still
go."
like getting your wheelie bag up and you're taking your time and you're holding up the line,
Yeah.
that gets me steamed
That's
because
actually the only time that I will I'll stand up and because, again, with same, like, I'm very uncomfortable. I have a leg injury, a back injury that you guys have heard me talk about. I've had it for, like, literally 3 fucking years now, I'm trying to fix, but it kills me to sit, and so I stand up, and I'm just trying to be efficient. Like,
Mhm.
I'll get up, and I'm like, because 'cause I'm in the aisle seat, And maybe and, like, sometimes I will, because I can, like, tell if people are trying to do connecting flights, like, they'll kind of say it, and then I'll, like, stand in my seat. I am
Yeah,
always
yeah.
trying to be, like, aware of people around me, but I will not go and cut the line, like, while
Right.
everyone else is getting ready. I won't book it unless I have a connecting flight, of course, but I'll just be standing there, and what I said to the girls that wrote in, I was like, "Actually, if anything, I'm the hero because I'm stopping all those people who wanna cut in front of the line from doing that because 'cause I'm standing in the way, and
Right.
I'm waiting for people to come." But the one time that I will just book it is if people are being so slow and they're not moving. I'm like, "I'm just gonna go then because if you're taking this long," and also by me going, that is, like, getting, like, efficiency, like, "Okay, now we're moving," instead of just waiting for the people to get their luggage down and blah, 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 blah.
And there is sometimes for me there's context, like, obviously, if it's an older person who's, like, not as quick on the draw, but they're still doing everything they should be doing, that's completely different. Or if, like, somebody is, has their kid and they're getting that situation, I can
Yeah,
I
of
can
course.
understand that. But when it's, like, just for instance, if it's just, like, somebody putting on their jacket and not
Yeah.
moving while they're putting on their
Yeah, you
jacket.
don't need to put that on right now, it ain't that cold.
Yeah, just do it on the concourse. Just like you
Yes.
got it, go. And that's like you said, you stand in your seat. That's kind of how I try to do it, almost as a way to signal to other people of like, I know I'm not getting anywhere
Yeah, yeah,
faster.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know I'm not cutting anybody. I just need to stand up and I'm still like hunched over
Mm,
under the
but that's
overhead
still
bin.
so uncomfortable too, so that's why
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, "I'm just gonna stand in the aisle and just, like" I don't know. I honestly because I've always heard that trope of, like, people getting annoyed that people stand when the plane lands, but I never even understood what that meant because I just thought people were, like, annoyed that people are standing. I didn't know the whole, like, backstory of, like, people cutting.
Yeah.
But I really do just think, like, too many people care way too much about what other people are doing on airplanes. Mind your
That's
own business.
it's what other people are doing. It's because there's obviously exceptions, right? Like don't bring like a big stinky
Tuna.
fish lunch on
Yeah.
on the airplane, obviously, but
Mhm.
it's and we definitely want to keep it on airplanes because that's what we're here to talk about today. But there is sort of this like, and I to kind of bring it back to '90s comedy because I've picked up on this. If you go back and you watch like sitcoms or '90s like these movies that are based on like social situation comedy, it's a lot of people just griping, people
Mhm.
just saying stuff is stupid for because they think it's stupid. And like a great example of this is in the movie I Love You Man, when Paul Rudd has that big rant about Starbucks's sizing system and how stupid it
Yeah.
is. And then but the gag there is that Elizabeth Banks calls it out that like it's Italian. It's
Mm.
Italian. They're doing a thing. It's marketing. It's called a venti because venti means 20. It's
Yes.
20 ounces. And it's just like, yeah, it's branding, guys. Like this is like, why are you letting this make you upset? We
Mhm.
live in a world where people are constantly making choices for marketing. And I'm getting off topic here, but like it just seems like sometimes people are constantly looking around the world for things that are so trivial and so dumb to be upset by when
Mhm.
we are living in a world where there's a million very obvious things that should be making
Yeah.
us upset and we should be uniting to fix. But instead, we're just here of just like, these dummies are clapping at the end of a movie.
Oh my god, I was just gonna use that as an example, but, like, on the plane, like, that's the other thing, why do you guys care when people clap when a plane lands?
I don't
Why
do
do
it, but
you
I think it makes
care?
sense. Hey, great job. Great job,
Great job for
pilots.
getting us in this metal bus up in the sky to landed safely. Thank
That could
you.
have been a disaster, and it wasn't.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't clap just because, like, I think, like you were talking about, I don't want people to see me as this
Oh, this fucking
Chumbo
guy.
is clapping at the end of a, but he claps at movies too.
Yeah.
It's I
If
clap at the end
other
of movies in my own home. That's just for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Now
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like I'm at an event.
Yeah, yeah. I'll clap if other people are clapping, but I'm not gonna be the one to get it started.
I think we should actually normalize if it's a great flight, like zero turbulence, like pitch to perfect game kind of
Mhm.
flight, we should like raucous. It should be
Oh,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah, brother. Woo! High
Yeah!
fiving.
Standing ovation too, and then get people
Mm,
really mad, standing
yeah.
and clapping. That'll
That's
really
good.
piss him off. Yeah, so I don't know, you guys. I don't understand what the big deal is. Maybe that's a hot take, but I don't care about what other people are doing on planes. I was literally thinking about it. I'm like, what are some things that I care that people do on planes? I really don't like when they don't cover their mouths when they cough. That really frustrates me because you're usually like going on a trip where you don't want to be sick, or you're coming home and you have to go back to work and you don't want to be sick. But like just in regular life, I don't like when people cough without their like
Sure.
covering themselves. But we're like in a very small space. I hate when kids are playing their headphone like without headphones, playing their
Adults do
iPads
that
without
too, though.
headphones. Ugh. Just like
That's crazy.
how?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, no, we cannot be doing that.
Have you ever seen somebody
Um,
break up on an airplane?
no, but I would love
That's
that.
the craziest thing I ever saw on a plane. I saw 2 people break up, and it was fully loaded flight. And they,
Oh,
like,
were they like yelling?
they weren't yelling, but they might as well have been. They were doing
Yeah.
that thing where they're like, "I am not trying to do this right now. So you
Yeah.
are doing this. I'm not doing this. You're doing." Everyone could hear. And, like, I
Where-
actually saw people that had headphones on, like,
that were like, that's so
taking them
me.
off
That's
and
me.
just trying, like, people were very clearly trying to figure out who they thought was in the wrong.
Yeah, that's
And by
that's the
the
whole D's nuts community right there.
That's
We
why this
all be doing
podcast is here.
that. Yeah.
And it was a loaded flight, and I remember the the guy asking on behalf of the woman, would anyone be willing to trade seats with her? And it's clearly like she wanted to trade seats. She didn't want to sit next to him. So he had to ask if anybody would trade seats, and nobody
Oh my
did.
god, nobody would. Wait, how far away were you from them?
I was like, it was closer to the front of the plane, and I was like, God, I remember this so much more. It's just one of those things of like, damn, you never forget when you see that happen. I was
Yeah,
like maybe a row or two in front of the emergency door. So I was like a
okay.
ways
Oh, and
back,
you
but
could
like
hear
I don't
them
think like the back of
still?
the plane could tell what was going on. They could just like see they weren't being so raucous that like the flight crew had to get involved or anything. It was
You think
just
they were
like they kept it
drunk?
subdued enough. I couldn't really tell. It seems like this was a long time coming, and it was just from the way they were talking, it was just like, yeah, you guys have been here a couple of times before.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Or it could also have been one of those things where they just do this all the time, like those
Right.
couples that break up
This is
constantly.
their kink.
Yeah, yeah,
They just do it for the
on
makeup sex
airplane.
after.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen 3 breakups at a Panera Bread, which is like, that's not that
3?
3. Yeah, 3, but that's a lot. It's weird that it happened that many times, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But when you think about it, Panera Bread's a great place to break up with somebody. It's super neutral.
Oh,
The
yeah,
tone is
yeah,
very
yeah.
quiet, so they can't have an overreaction.
Mm,
It's kind of like breaking up with them in a crowded restaurant, except you're doing it the most milk toast, plain. It's like that
mm.
whole place is designed to give you no emotion. It's not designed
Yes.
to make you comfortable. It's not designed to make you uncomfortable. It's utilizing all the psychological tricks of neutrality to
Yes,
just enjoy your hospital food.
and it's like an easy escape too because you don't have to wait on the check from the server, like, you can
Exactly. You can
just
just
get
bounce
out of
out of there.
there. Yeah. So you think they're doing it on
I
purpose,
think
like,
it's
it
a
wasn't just
calculated
a
move.
coincidental thing?
This was over the span of
Mm.
this was between like I think 2012 to 2017. And I don't go to Panera Bread that often. I've started eating
Yeah.
Panera Bread a lot more often because Jackie likes it. But it's like probably in that span in those 5 years, I maybe went to Panera Bread 4 times, and three of
3
those
of those 4?
I saw somebody getting broken up
Were
with.
you lingering for a while just to,
No,
like, hear the tea?
the first time it happened while I was there with a friend, and we just like noticed it happening. And then the next
Okay.
2 times I was just like there to like I needed food or something, and I just bought a sandwich and left. But I was just like, you got Panera.
You got Panera again. Well, actually, we had a listener here, Brooke. She said, similar to what I was saying, if I'm in an aisle seat, yes, but only to block the assholes that try to run to the front of the line. You let everyone go in front of you as the plane leaves front to back. That's plane etiquette.
Okay. I have never seen this. And maybe this is just a thing that I've never been exposed to. I have never seen somebody try to go from the back of the plane to the front of the plane while everyone else is sitting down. I've
I,
never seen that.
I think people do it like right when the doors go, before everybody else, like, has a chance to, where it's, like,
Okay.
when the aisle's a bit clear, people start to be yeah, I truly have, like, almost never noticed that, and, like, I always just assumed those were people connecting their flights, and I think that's the thing, and this is any of you all out there that get upset about it, is just assume the best in people. Assume that those people are catching their connecting flights. Who cares?
And so I before this next thing, I will like that is unacceptable. That is absolutely like you shouldn't be doing that. But you also just need to let it go. Like
Yeah.
that's ultimately not impacting you, and like you're really holding on to a small amount of personal victory there of well now you don't go now
Mhm.
I'm maintaining order, I have control. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, fine if you want to do that. But I do agree, like, that's very silly behavior. Even if, like, if you're connecting on a flight, I guess, like, yeah, all right. But like, yeah, that's douchebaggery for sure. But this is something that I have had in the back of my mind for a few years now. You know, when you're in really bad traffic on the highway, like really
Mhm.
bad, and people will use the emergency lane
Oh,
to
yeah.
zip up. And I've seen people even posting about social media on this, where in order to stop that, people will get into the emergency lane and not and only move with the flow of traffic to keep people from using the
Yeah.
emergency lane. But
Why do you
here's so
care?
why do you care, right? But also there are tons of stories of people being in medical emergencies and someone
Yeah, yeah,
doing that, some
yeah.
like car Batman thinking that they're doing the Lord's work, and they're
Yes.
blocking somebody who needs to get to a hospital. And then on top of
Wow.
that, if you're
Great
in bad enough
point.
traffic and an actual emergency vehicle comes up behind you
True.
and there isn't a space for you to get back over into the flow of traffic, now you're blocking an emergency. Like getting into the
Great
emergency
point.
lane is already being a part of the problem,
Yeah.
unless you need it for an emergency. So
Yes.
it's again
And
where I
also, it's like, even if those people are doing it and they're getting the emergency and they are, like, beating the system or whatever, it's just one less car that's stuck in this fucking traffic, so let it go.
I just don't want to spend my life stressed out and angry about the behavior of other people when it doesn't affect me. Like the
Mhm.
principle of the thing holds less and less weight to me in more and more situations. There's obviously some situations where that's important to me, but that's
Mhm.
usually much more on like personal levels, like people that I know that I'm friends with. Like
Yeah.
for example, when you told me that you put your socked feet on the back of people's airplane seats, that was the principle of the thing to me, and it was a
Yeah.
conversation worth happening.
I just still don't see the problem.
But the fact that you don't see the problem and you choose not to do it anyway speaks volumes for your character.
Thank you, thank you. But, yeah, I don't understand, it's like those people that call citizens arrest.
Yeah, I mean, calling citizens arrest is always funny to me because they always say it, or like it's portrayed in media like it's a spell, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
place you under citizen's arrest. And
Dun,
who's just going to be like,
dun.
oh, I can't go anywhere now. You got me. Um, I don't,
Frozen.
I don't know enough about when we're actually supposed to do that or what
I
the
actually would
actual,
love to do that one day now that I'm thinking about it.
just try it on somebody.
Yeah.
My God.
Let's do it. We should make a goal of that one day.
Well, okay, so like this when I was working in when I was marketing and sales and my job involved me being up at like, being in my first account at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, it
Uh-huh.
was really common to see people stealing from grocery stores at that time, particularly booze. And I
Oh,
would see it most often when it was happening with booze because early in the
okay.
morning, there's less staff, it's easier to get away with, right? And like regardless of the time, you can just walk into a grocery store. Most of them, even if they're not open 24 hours a day, the front
Mhm.
doors are still open because there's like I know that that's not always the case, but they have people coming in and out for deliveries. There's people
Right,
like
right,
me
right.
who are coming in at all hours to do jobs as like vendors and stuff. And the protocol for every retail job I've ever worked is if somebody steals something, just let them go. Because we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want a lawsuit of you, even though they're stealing
Exactly.
something from us. We don't want you to get hurt. If they get hurt, we could be liable, blah, 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 blah. And
Mhm.
I saw it maybe I couldn't give you an exact number, maybe a half dozen times in like the year that I did this job. And only one time I saw this guy running out with two handles of like cheap whiskey. It wasn't even nice. and a manager and two shop just normal shop guys were tearing after this dude like he stole their wallet. And it was
Oh,
just like
shit.
it was like maybe 4:35 in the morning. It was at the beginning of my day, but not right at the beginning. I
Oh
remember
my
just seeing
god.
that and being like, that's such a good way to get stabbed or to just
Yep.
get like you don't know anything about this person. He could just wheel around and whack you with one of those whiskey bottles. Like,
Mhm.
just let it go, guys. It's not your whiskey.
Not worth it. It's like a big corporate brand too.
Yep.
Like it's okay.
You're
They're gonna be all
insured.
right.
You're
Yeah, yeah.
hey, guess what? I'm the sales rep for that whiskey brand. We'll get you another bottle.
It's good. I've got some in my trunk. I can hand it over to you. In fact, actually, the guy that's stealing it, come over here. I got something for you.
I think this yeah, yeah, come on, man. Let's do this. Let's keep this all above board. I think
Yeah.
that this all is kind of relative to air travel because the reason that I think we all find airports romantic, right? Like so many rom-coms end in
Mm,
airports to the
yeah.
point where it's an overused trope to now whenever it still gets used in romantic movies and stuff. And it's like, oh, they're ending it in an airport. Ah, they're doing the thing. And
Yeah.
I think the reason why it's romantic to us is because we are forced to be in space with people from all over the world that we are probably never going to have exposure to again. And
Mhm.
you can choose, I think it's easier to do when you're in like the terminal, right? And you're like, having a drink, you're having a moderate and very overpriced lunch at one of the many eateries around the terminal.
Yeah.
And you're people watching and it's nice. But once you get into that metal tube that's going to take you
Yep.
all several 25,000 miles up into the sky where you could all die.
Yep.
Now all those people aren't so interesting and fun to watch. Now they're your
No.
enemies. So I
Yes.
get why it becomes a pressure cooker, but you got to just maintain that attitude of like this too shall pass and this behavior in no way affects me.
Yeah, like we're only on this airplane for like a max of 14 hours.
That
Like
you
that's
just saying that sent a chill down my spine. I know one day I'll be on a flight that goes that long. I
no,
think the longest
brutal.
I've ever been on is like 6 hours from LA to New York, and that's or not
No,
at New York,
you
Washington D.C., but that's the longest that I've ever been on a plane, and
oh,
that's
it's
too long.
brutal. I've only ever had to do that like a couple times when I went to like Asia and then New Zealand, and it's
Sure.
just like that's more than half the reason why I would don't go to the like no. It's too far. It's too far.
Too
But
far.
too far, but I do think that one of the interesting parts too of airplane etiquette is that just like everybody plays by their own rules. Like there's not
Yeah.
a set of rules for
Hmm.
everyone, which we will get into two stories that of people playing by their own rules. But it really is like there isn't set of rules.
Hmm.
So it's just very and but everybody is convinced that their set of rules is the right
It's the
rules.
right ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into our first story, shall we?
Let's.
Am I the asshole for wanting the airplane window shade up when I specifically booked a window seat? I get a bit claustrophobic on flights and always book a window seat when I travel. I usually only need to take short domestic flights for work, and the window shade has never been an issue. A few months ago, I was on a long haul from Europe to the US. I had a window seat in business class. The seats were in a 1-2-1 arrangement. So I had the window on one side of my chair and the aisle on the other. The flight left around 2 p.m. local time. I still had my tray in front of me and was gazing over it out the window when the flight attendant reached over me with a tray to shut the window shade. I asked what she was doing, and she said the guy across the aisle wanted to sleep. I told her I booked the window seat for a reason and wanted it open. The guy all the way across the aisle had a sleep mask, and it was the middle of the afternoon. I also had a cross stitch with me to work on during the 12-hour flight and needed better light than just the overhead lamp. The flight attendant made some snippy remark about needing to compromise and allowed me to put it partially back up. The guy never talked to me before getting the flight attendant. She never talked to me before slamming it shut. The other passenger could block light with his sleep mask, pillow, and blanket since we had lie flat seats in little compartments and I paid 5K for the window seat. Why should I be forced to compromise and sit in the dark during the middle of the day? I wouldn't have thought twice about it because I've always believed the person in the window seat controls the shade. But when I got up a while later to get a bottle of water, I noticed that my shade was the only one on the entire plane. I started to feel like the asshole, but I don't sleep on planes and need to be able to look outside so I don't feel trapped in a metal can. Before I take a similar flight, what is the protocol for this?
I really didn't know where this one was going to go, and I am firmly on the side of the author of this post. I do agree that if you are the window seat, you are the steward of the window shade. You are the guardian.
Mhm.
You are the what's the word I'm looking for? The ferryman of whether or not there will be lights or will there won't be. If you want to look at you paid for that window seat, but I was willing to maybe be like, okay, well, I guess it depends on how this was broached. And the fact that this guy, one, had a sleep mask, which, like, who has a sleep mask? Do you have a little sleeping cap and a little old man draped pajamas with a little candle so that you can go honk shoe when you snore and you putter around your house?
True.
You don't need, do you have a sleeping mask? I feel like if I knew anyone who had one, it would be you or Della.
No, but Max does, and which thank
That,
God because he's such a light sleeper with any kind of light, and he
mm.
found these really comfortable ones. Because you know how they normally just like cling onto your
Yeah, they
face
look
and they like
silly.
smash your eyes?
Yeah.
And it's I can't ever sleep with them, but this one's really comfortable. In this situation, because she said they paid 5K and it was a 1-2-1,
And they have
it
the little
and they have a
cubbies.
lie flat, it sounds like, they're in business class. So
Yeah.
business class always gives you that little, pouch, and it comes with a sleep mask, so that's what I think
Oh,
she's
okay.
probably referring to.
Yeah, I've never seen that, but it's the big thing for me is that this guy couldn't just ask the person,
Yeah.
which tells me it wasn't actually that important. This guy just thinks he's a big shot. This guy wanted to
Mhm.
boss the worker around and tell the worker, "Hey, go shut that." And the her not asking before she just shut that window closed, that's crazy. That is
Yes.
an absurd overreach.
I know.
I know, I get that she was probably trying to avoid conflict, but you also could have created so much more conflict by doing that.
Yeah, like she's a child.
It's
That you have to reach over and just shut it, like, you should always
if
ask.
somebody was sitting in the aisle seat next, like, and I'm in the window and somebody's in the aisle and they asked me to do it, I would be like, "Yeah, are you just trying to go to sleep? Okay,
Mhm.
once you're asleep, I'm gonna put it back up just because I prefer it to be open, but I'll
Mm.
I'll close it for you while you go to sleep. Is
Yeah.
that cool?" And I'm sure that that would be cool to them. And if they said, "No, it's not cool. You have to keep it closed the whole time," I'll just leave it open the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
Why you got to be a
"Is
dick?
this what you want?"
Trying to compromise, man.
But the other thing too is that the person that was it was the flight attendant that reached
Oh yeah, yeah,
over.
no, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
Which it is still, but it's like, I guess she has, like, the more power than, like, another passenger would have, but it still is just, like, you definitely should be like I mean, maybe you don't even have to ask, you could be like, "Oh, it's, like, time to close them now." I've definitely had flight attendants do that in the past where it's like, "Okay, shut them," because I think there are certain things where it's like isn't there there's some kind of protocol where you're supposed to open them when the plane lands, I think that's what it
Oh
is.
yeah, I have no idea. I really couldn't tell you.
But that's the thing too, is that it feels like that there's different airplane etiquette, like, even the actual rules are always different.
I think a lot of the times flight crews are just telling people whatever they need
They
to get
want
them
to do
to get them to behave a certain way. Because we don't, like, if you get too far out of line up there, welcome to the no fly list, Buster.
Yep,
Like now you just
yep,
can't get on planes anymore.
yeah. Exactly. We have a comment here. It says NTA, especially because he had a sleep mask. If you're sleeping on a plane, you know it's not going to be the best sleep of your life. I wonder if he even asked the flight attendant to shut the window or she just decided to because she saw him sleeping. And then OP said he was awake and watching this entire exchange. He
That's
was just
weird.
watching it.
That's weird. That's that guy's kink.
Yeah.
I like telling workers what to do and having them inconvenience other people.
Yeah. And women too. Workers and
Yeah, way
workers
to
and
go, pal.
women.
Way to go, pal. Pitting
Way
two
to go,
women
pal.
against each other.
That's so true. We do have
Yeah.
a YTA here though.
Oh boy.
The shade usually goes down if someone complains. Even with a sleep mask, light can go through. If the person is light sensitive or has migraines, leaving it open can cause major issues. I had this issue on a plane recently, but fortunately, the person was nice enough to close it when I requested. If she hadn't, I would have gone to the flight attendant to close it because even covering my face, uh, the light was worsening the migraine and I would have started vomiting. Sometimes it's not even the person sitting next to you that complains. The person I had issues with was a few rows on the other side. The light was just coming in the right way. Even without a migraine, a person with light glaring in their eyes has the right to have a shade closed. I've seen this on every flight I've been on when someone complained about the light in their face. I don't know if it's an official policy, but it is done on a regular basis. And then OP responds, the light was not glaring in his eyes. He had a lie flat seat. When fully laid out in those seats, your head is not anywhere near a direct glare. You can also roll on your side from the window.
I eh, eh, I guess I would also open up with, like, to the person who responded to that, yes, if you get migraines from light, then sure, I'm sure 99% of people on the plane, when you say, "Excuse me, I get terrible migraines if light's shining in my eyes. Would you
Mhm.
mind closing that shade for me?" Of course, they're going to close it. I would like to know how you don't get painful migraines that cause you to vomit when you're out in the sun,
Mm.
if it's that bad. And I'm not saying that in a judgmental way. I am curious, what about, would it specifically be a direct glare hitting you in the eyes? Because that also changes things. It's not ambient light from the sun that we're all around, but like, it's a big, big, big leap to me to assume that everyone who tries to control other people around them are doing it for reasons as good as, I get, if I
A
have light in my
migraine.
eyes, I get migraines.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you tell somebody, "Hey, I have a serious medical reason why I need you to do me this solid," yeah, they'll do it for you, I'm sure 9 out of 10 times. I know there are actual assholes in the world who would fight you on it. But
Mhm.
I don't think it's any kind of an official policy. I think the word they're looking for is common decency.
Yeah. I do have to say though, I have had those experiences where it's not like a migraine, I don't necessarily get migraines, but like where the light will be really bothering me or like giving me a headache and
Sure.
like I don't ever ask though, but I am just like praying that they do close it. And
But I think it's
normally they do.
I think it's totally fair play when you're experiencing that. Because if, like, I like having the window open, but if anybody ever asked me for even as simple as a reason of wanting to go to sleep, I'd be happy to
Yeah.
do it. But the
Mhm.
second you make somebody else fight your battles, I think you're an asshole.
Mhm.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what your reasoning is. Like, "Oh, I'm afraid of confrontation." Not afraid of causing confrontation for somebody else.
Yeah, so true.
That's
It's such a
just
little like bitch move.
just just be a grown up, tap them on the shoulder and explain. Just, you don't have to give them a good reason, but you also have to do it in a way where you're not just commanding them, where you're not asserting your authority on them as their superior, which
Mhm.
we've covered tons of situations like that, where that's always a big thing for me in determining who's in the wrong in a situation, where if you're trying to assert control on somebody else and that's the
Mhm.
only reasoning you're giving them is like, "I don't like it. Close that. I don't care
Yeah.
what you want." You do kind of have to give them like, "Hey, there is a reason I'm asking this of you."
Yeah, especially because it was the middle of the day too. I mean, I get like on international flights, a lot of times you're going into different time zones. So, like, in order to get on the time zone, you're like, oh, I should sleep on this flight to
Sure.
try and get there. So, I understand that, but it is kind of funny where it's like, okay, it's literally the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I get with like red eye flights, that is, well, also with red eye flights, it's usually dark outside, so it doesn't matter. But like, yeah, everyone's supposed to close their windows when it's a red eye, because like, you know how the lights get really dark?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I love the ambiance on a, unless I'm high, because
Yeah. Yeah.
that is the one time I don't like that, but I prefer flying on planes at night
Yeah, I like
to
the
flying on planes
ambiance
in the
too.
day. Yeah.
We have another, comment here saying the flight attendant should have asked you if you minded the shade being pulled down. Secondly, it was hardly an emergency for the man trying to sleep. It was a slight emergency for you since you needed that visual to calm your anxiety. You might want to report her to the airline. And then OP says,
Okay. All right.
"Relax." Opie says about halfway through the flight, she got really nice to me and came over to comment on my cross stitch. Maybe someone else said something. It was just very jarring to have someone suddenly reach across me and use the corner of a tray to close the shade. Oh, it was the corner of the
Yeah.
tray. Oh,
And
okay.
also, they said they were in one of those little cubbies, right? Which I've never even seen on a plane. I just see them in commercials and movies and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So like
Yeah,
that really makes the dude who asked to me sound like a dick because like, oh, you're lying flat, you're in your own little walled space, and you just need to know that that window's not open.
exactly. It's giving main character energy for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure he's a very important middle manager at some god awful finance firm.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're definitely going not the asshole on this
Yeah,
one.
NTA.
Okay, so for the last one, do you either want to hear it's a video
Okay.
of another podcast telling a story of what happened to them? So I
Hmm.
could send you the clip, or I could read AIT for disabling the recline on this plane seat ahead of me.
I That sounds so chaotic and very. Could you give me what's the other
Yeah,
one about?
the other one is, like, having a kid on the plane, and the parents were separately seated together, and they thought that someone should switch with them, and they were in middle seats.
So I want to go with the recliner one for two reasons. One, because I don't want it to be two episodes in a row where I'm coming for parents.
Oh, yeah, 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 good
But
idea.
secondly, there's been that video going around. There was a video going around, I think like 2 months back, of a woman like hardline refusing to give up her seat so that a kid could sit with her parents, and the kid's like crying and throwing a fit and the parents are screaming at her and she's just refusing to do it, and she wound up suing the airplane company and won a bunch of money because it's like, yeah, she paid for that seat, she does
Yeah,
not have to give that seat up.
yeah,
And I guess like the people that were working on the plane were trying to pressure her into doing it to just get the situation over with, and that's what wanted the
oh,
lawsuit. But because that has been such a hot button thing already, and the
yeah, yeah,
fact
yeah.
I know I'm already against the parents on this,
Yes, I mean, I
so
am
let's
too.
let's do the recliner one.
Okay. So, for background, I was in the second row of coach for a very long flight. The row in front of me was the bulkhead, so they had a ton of leg room and no one in front of them where they would need to recline to recover their own space from a recliner in front of them. Make sense?
Yes.
Traditionally, I jam a water bottle in the gap between my tray table and the seat so that the recline mechanism doesn't work to prevent the person in front of me from spending the flight in my lap. It's perfect because it gives them about a half an inch of recline and then stops. So generally, they just assume that's all the chair does and stop trying after a few pushes. I like to use my lap tray, and frankly, I think reclining on a flight is incredibly rude and would never consider reclining myself, especially if it's in coach and not a red eye. AITA for secretly forcing good manners upon my seatmates.
I want to say this with all there is an odd respect in what I'm about to say. There is a stunned like, wow, what a move. That being said, this is sociopathic.
I can't even picture it. So what is it? He's putting a water bottle where?
Jamming it into the seat. He's like,
Into the sea. Oh, so like underneath?
I don't need to understand how they're doing it. I just understand that they're using a
Uh,
water bottle to sabotage the intended function of a device that another person is using because they
yes.
have decided that even though this is just what flying on a plane is, you have a
Uh,
recline button too. I never recline on a plane because it doesn't help me at all. It does absolutely
mm.
nothing for me. So I
Wait,
just don't do
really?
it.
Because why
Yeah,
because your knees like go
it
further
doesn't
in
matter, like,
anyway?
cool, my back's at a slightly further back angle than it was,
Uh,
like, it's not giving me any more space, it's not making me any more comfortable, so I don't do it, but I also don't mind when someone else does it because it's the reality of being on the sky bus.
mhm.
You're just like, these are the rules. These are what we all have to work with, and your seat is your seat. So you can recline if you want to. It's an inconvenience and it does hurt my knees more, but it's just one of those things where it's like it doesn't matter enough to me for me to like lean up to whoever it might be in front of me and just being like, "Hi, I'm sorry. I'm a big man. I'm a big man and I don't got a lot of room. Will you
Yeah.
mind please not reclining for me?" It's I don't know who's ever not wanted to hear me doing baby talk, but there you go. I don't do that a lot. I didn't even like it.
Right. I almost exited this chat.
That's why I don't do it.
But this is another one of those like everybody plays by different rules on
Right.
this one too, which like the people who think that people shouldn't recline in their chairs, and I guess vice versa, like think they're adamantly correct about it. And I personally, and I wonder if it's just like how you were raised, like if your parents were like, "Oh no, yeah, you can recline or not," and then you're just like stuck with that in your head. Because to me, like my perspective is like, why don't we all recline?
Everybody recline.
Like we
Everybody
all
do it.
do it.
Yeah.
Now, I do think the one problem with that, and there are some planes, again, here's the issue with like the planes not having like all the same rules or like designed the same way. So that's why there's all these rules that are like, differentiating. But there are some planes where like the back row can't recline. So
Sure.
then I understand why. So then it's like, okay, then not all of us can recline. But at the same time, like if you're getting the back seat of the plane, like
Yeah.
either you got there really late or you're paying really, really cheaply. So whatever.
Or you're flying into Burbank, the best airport in America, and you know that you get to deplane from the back
From the
end. I
back.
never feel like a savvier traveler than when I get on, especially on a South. Once again, you would think
South
Southwest would be
sponsored by.
paying me at this point, but whenever I get on a flight going to Burbank, and I just like I am comfortable even being in the C boarding group because I know I'm gonna get on there, and I like
Yeah,
there'll be like 5 other people who are already all the way in the back, and it's just like my guys,
that's
what's up, smart people?
beautiful. Yeah. They don't everyone else doesn't know the tricks of the trade
And
like
now
Jakey
you're getting a
T.
free one for all D's nuts out there. If you're ever flying into Burbank, sit in the back of the plane if you can, because you're going to be off that sucker in like 2 minutes after landing.
Yeah. I honestly didn't know that. I
Yep.
actually don't think I've ever flown out of Burbank
Oh,
because I'm just so much closer to
my
LAX.
next tattoo is very likely going to be a Burbank Airport tattoo. It's one of
Shut
my
up.
No, I'm serious. It's one of my biggest points of pride about being from the San Fernando Valley. We have the most efficient, comfortable, easiest access airport that I have ever experienced. There might be other ones. It is just so simple to get in and out of there. And
That's
usually like the
beautiful.
price difference you're paying, especially if you live in the valley, compared to having to go to LAX, which is my least
Mm,
favorite thing about this city. That is the worst airport I've ever had to deal with.
yeah.
It's the fact that I can take a $25 lift, get dropped off almost right at the front gate, and then just bam, pop through security. I'm at Guy Fieri's sandwich joint.
Fieris.
Guy Fieri, you got to say it right.
Fieri. Wait, so this design, this like airplane with it's kind of
I
like a A
actually
shape?
the design that I have in mind, there's like an architect printout of what it would look like from before it got built, like that old 1960s architecture style. And I want to get that
Oh,
kind of as like a small sort of rectangle, like landscape portrait. This
okay.
my right leg is slowly becoming. I'm going to start adding like Los Angeles and California pieces to that, so it's going to go probably right above my knee on there.
Is
That's what I'm
there
envisioning right now.
is there an image online?
I'll find it for you and send
Yeah,
it. It would
send it
be
to
a
me. I'll
tough one to
post
find
it.
through Googling.
Okay, cool. I love that. That's like I think we had talked about this on the podcast in the past too, but like I would get a Wawa tattoo, that like
That's a
convenience
solid one.
store.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
really
So
good.
similar kind of vibe. But yeah, I think that everybody should just recline. I don't understand the people that are such sticklers about nobody reclining. I'm like, let's all do it. I don't get the argument of like if we all do it, we all do it.
If it's
And
an
we're all
optional
comfortable.
optional feature of whatever it is you're using, it's fair play.
Mhm.
It's ridiculous to shame somebody for using what is given to your disposal, right?
Mhm.
Like, kind of similar with the window. Like, yeah, the window is not automatically controlled by the flight crew for a reason. The person who's sitting at that window they have to ask you to use the bathroom. You don't have to ask them to use the bathroom. They
Yeah.
get to control the window. That's the trade-off.
Yep. And then the middle seat gets is supposed to get the armrest, right?
That, yes, that
That's what I've heard.
is what should happen. But like, I gotta tell you, like, that's really just gonna become a dog eat dog situation any given
Yeah.
time. Like, it's just like
Yeah.
who wants it more, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
To make a bigger deal for it.
They need to at least have one.
Yeah, no, it's like, and I think that that's like, I've actually been on a plane before where it was like me, an older guy on the inside, and then like a guy around my age in the middle, and we're all bigger guys. Jokingly, the guy on the outside is just like, "How do you guys want to handle the armrest situation?" Because here's what was really funny about it. He just like leans up on his. We all lean. We all go one
Uh,
way, you know. So
yeah,
we've
yeah,
all
yeah.
got one. He's doing that, and we're just like,
That's
yeah,
so
yeah, okay, man.
funny.
What's your name? We didn't talk the rest of the flight, but that was like a very
He does this
fun.
every flight. That's his kink.
It's very. He has a very nice kink. He's a very helpful kink. Good for him.
He gets off
Yeah,
on
I get off on making weird social situations less awkward.
yeah, yeah. But also then the window person, like, already has that armrest, so then the window person gets 2.
Well, that it was.
It's
I
kinda
can't
hard
remember
to
how it was
lean
fair. We
fully
worked out
into.
something where we are like, yeah, this is fair. This
Okay.
is all good. Like we whatever it was. The main thing is we were all laughing about it. You know.
Yeah. The main takeaway. So, I think, yeah, as an aisle person, I always just do the outside one. I'm not really
Yeah.
taking I think that the middle person needs a little something, something.
Well, they do, but it's also kind of like you knew what you were getting. Like I
That's
will if
true.
I'm left with no choice but a middle seat, I'm finding a different flight.
Yeah, or, like, maybe upgrading to exit row or something.
And again, this is why Southwest Airlines is your number one choice for domestic travel in the United
Yeah.
States, folks. There are advantages to there being no seating chart. Yes, it's chaotic, but all you have to do is be quick on the draw for the 24-hour check-in ahead of time. And if it's really important to you, use early bird, gang.
There you go.
This is
This is an ad.
I can cut a mean promo for Southwest. I think I just did.
This is like the Truman Show, and you're the wife. Just inserting ads.
I wouldn't mind if like my whole existence in the Truman Show was to just plug Southwest Airlines.
Southwest and the Burbank Airport.
Southwest Airlines were the B minus of the skies.
Yeah. Well, we got a comment here that really won OP over actually and made them see the error in their
Okay.
ways. YTA, that's how the seats work, and you are taking something away from the person in front of you. If you don't like it, pay for economy plus or business and first class. Question: how would you feel if they modified their seat so that it reclined even more than normal? Outraged, I imagine. But it's the same thing you are doing in the opposite direction. And OP said, wow, you've made the best point so far. I'd be furious. That's a good way to look at it.
I'm glad that I'm glad that they saw the error of their ways, but I do think it's funny that the only way they could learn that was imagining themselves being more
Yeah,
inconvenienced.
literally.
And I do want to double back. That is super funny. That's a very funny thing in concept. Like
Uh,
if I saw a character on a TV show whose whole thing is being like a curmudgeon asshole that like goes to insane lengths to protect their spaces or whatever, I
yeah.
think okay, that's very funny because the asshole is doing it, but it's still psychotic.
The water bottle thing. It's like
Yeah,
it's like a Larry David move, I feel
it's
like.
very Larry David. And if you're ever behaving like Larry David in real life, something
Yes.
has gone horribly wrong.
We've got a problem. But that's like because you know how George is like after Larry David and Seinfeld. It's like
Yeah.
that's Jason Alexander like tells this story, the guy who played George, for those of you guys that don't know. But where he like goes up to Larry and he's like that nobody would ever do this like in the script. Like he's like we have to change this and he's like, "What? Well, I just did that last week." And then that's when like Jason Alexander like it clicked to him that George was
Yeah.
Larry.
Yeah. No, that's such a good story. And
But I
like
relate with George though. I was
really
like, "Uh-oh." There are some times where I literally like, uh-oh.
I think that that was always kind of the appeal of Costanza, was that everybody has little moments at times where they relate
Yeah.
to Costanza. I've I know that the topic of this podcast is not about Seinfeld, and we've brought it up multiple times, but I
Mhm.
noticed that like when I was younger, I didn't get Seinfeld at all. And then when I got into my teens, I was like, "Oh, okay, it's funny." And then when I hit college in my 20s, I was like, "Oh, this is like one of the best sitcoms ever written. This is so
Mhm.
smart and really funny." And
Mhm.
then when I hit my 30s, I was just like, "What unpleasant people. What unpleasant, shitty people that just can't give the world an inch to breathe." And I
Wait,
could
do you
still
mean like the guest
the
stars?
4, the main 4.
Oh, because
Oh,
this was my perspective of it. I think I binged it. I think I was like in my late 20s. So like growing up, I would catch episodes because it was
yeah.
always on after Friends. And so I liked it in that capacity, but I never watched it all the way through. And so I binge it, which is really not a bingeable show. It's like there's
I
so
mean,
much
it's super
better and
disjointed. There's no point in binging it. It would
no.
be better to like hit a random episode, a random like a shuffle
Yes,
button when you watch it.
totally. But the thing that annoyed me so much about it, and I think it was because maybe I was just watching it back to back, is like the guest stars or like, the supporting characters were always so upset with the four of them. And
Yeah.
I always thought that the four of them were actually like fairly reasonable.
I think it depended on episode to episode. Honestly, I think the biggest asshole out of all of them is Jerry Seinfeld. And I
Hmm.
could go off on for an hour about how much I
IRL as
dislike and
well.
disrespect his work. But I don't get me wrong, it's a great show. It's super well written, and Larry David, like his work speaks for itself. But there were so many different instances of like the issues that Seinfeld or that Elaine or like really anybody in the show were having with somebody else in the world were exactly what we're talking about here. These little minuscule nothing. And I get it. That's the whole humor of the show, but I don't find it that funny at this stage of my life. And I think partially because, in the 90s, when if you lived in America and you were a moderate to fairly wealthy white person, like the four people in that show were,
Hmm.
there wasn't really any big problems that you had to worry about.
Yeah.
It was just these little social faux pas. It's
Yes. It was
give me
all
the
about
sign.
etiquette, basically.
Give me the Seinfeld episode where those four react to 9/11 as it's happening in New York.
Oh
That's
my
the episode I
God.
want to see, because I want to see those four having to deal with like that moment where the reality of the world crashed down on everybody living in the empire that at that time ran the world.
Hmm.
Suddenly having the troubles of the world brought to their doorstep. I want to see how those four people handle that, because it would probably be deplorable.
Oh, for sure.
Like the
Yeah,
whole
you're
episode
right.
would be about George being focused on like, I'm not gonna be able to get to work on time for weeks.
Yeah, it's
And
all
then
about
Jerry
him,
turning
all
to him
about
like,
him.
that's what you're worried about. You're
Yeah.
worried about getting to work on time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like, the whole finale of it all, like, the whole
Right.
last season or
It's
whatever,
the
like,
yeah,
that's
and like the
them.
finale is them being told they're bad people. Like I got that
Mhm,
they kind of
mhm.
did pay that off. Oh, the
Yeah.
plot with Elaine in the 9/11 episode would be, I just started dating a guy that works there. You meet a nice guy in this city. Boom, 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 boom,
Literally.
boom.
I remember this one time, I was seeing this guy, like, right before Max, and his name was Max too, and he kept talking about how he was, like, well, ironically, moving to New York. That doesn't have anything to do with it, but he was leaving, and, like, we hung out for, like, the last time, but we weren't sure if it was last time or not, and I was, like, feeling a little bit, like, hurt or, like, bitter or, like, what is going on kinda thing, and so, like, he, like, drops me off, and I just go to him, I just turn and I would go, "Well," and I pat his knee and I go, "I'll see you when I see ya." And then I just get out of the car. And I remember like telling all of you guys about it afterwards. And you guys were all because and I was like, I don't know, like, am I gonna see him? Like, when am I gonna see him?
Right.
Was that the end of it? And you guys all were like, you're literally Elaine from Seinfeld right here.
Yeah, that's an Elaine plot line for sure.
Like me
I
just
vaguely
coming
remember
over to
that
the
now.
guy's house and being like, well,
Oh
so
goodness.
good. All right, so we're going what
It's
on this
what
one?
oh, the maniac with the water bottle that's acting like
Yes.
Larry David? Yeah, it's a YTA.
Why, yeah. Do you even have to ask?
I'm glad that they saw the error of their ways. Yeah, it's just I think the reason why so many people hate flying, this isn't necessarily I just hate flying because I'm uncomfortable and it's usually too hot in there. But the reason why it sucks is because we all have to concede that none of us want to be there. We're all grumpy. We all just want the flight to
Mhm.
be over, especially
Yes.
if you're flying coach. And we don't have any control over that. There's no way to make it better. It just is what it is.
Mhm.
So we all have to stay in our tight little small space and try to make it work for everybody. And part of that is just conceding, okay, this person has their seat reclined, that person's
Mhm.
window is open, there's a kid like 6 feet down who keeps asking, or 6 seats back, that's asking his dad a bunch of questions that his dad clearly doesn't know the answer to. But hey,
Yes.
I have headphones. I just asked for 2 IPAs from the nice flight
Mhm.
attendant. I'm just going to zone out.
It's truly a social experiment if you think about it. Because what in any other context in life do you ever have to be around strangers in that way? Like a bus and a train, but, like, you can always get off on the next stop with those?
I wish I got to travel by train. I would travel by train
Oh, yeah, that
exclusively
would
if
be
that was a legitimate
beautiful.
option here.
I know. I wish they were quicker.
Like, that's, they could be, it's just we don't want to spend the infrastructure here.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot wait to go to Japan and get on one of those trains. That
Yes,
seems
I wanna
crazy.
try that.
It's insane to me that we can travel that fast and still be standing still. That's
Yeah.
nuts. I know that's a high thought. I know it sounds like I'm baked right now when I say that, but like, can you
Mhm.
believe we're going this fast and
Yeah.
we're standing still, dude?
Well, that's actually how an airplane is too, right? Because 'Cause
Yeah,
we're
it
going
is.
really
We're
fast.
going real fast up there, but I don't think about it in an airplane
Doesn't
because
feel that
I'm
way.
crammed into a tiny little seat. Where,
Yeah.
like, if I can walk around a train and go to, like, the bar car, which is nuts, you have a full bar on this thing, that's crazy.
Mhm. And also in the air, like, you don't have anything, like, next to you to show how fast you're going. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
when you look down, but there's no way to tell that everything's so far away that it's not like
sure.
things are flying by you.
Yeah,
But it is weird. You feel like you're not moving at all when you're on a
right.
plane. It's fucking nuts.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Well, write in, guys, with all of your little airplane etiquettes that you go by. I wanna hear some crazy hot takes.
Yeah, I would actually love to hear the follow-ups to everything that was said on this episode because I'm sure a couple of the things I said ruffled some feathers. But this is something
Mhm,
that I think is so, like you were saying, everyone is kind of playing by their own rules. Everyone is kind of deciding what is and isn't okay. And like
mhm.
it's a shocking amount of people I've seen bring smelly food onto an airplane. And that to me is just like rule
Yeah.
number one, like that, but people still do it. And it's just like, you know, there's so many videos on social media, people losing their fucking minds on planes now, and I just don't let yourself be that person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to go in, like, you got to be equipped. You have to know that you need your headphones, you need your sleep mask, you need to bring a pillow, you need to have your cross stitch. Like, you have to set yourself up for success on these
Yeah.
planes.
All you can do is control your own personal environment. That's it.
Mhm.
And once you start trying to have control over any other piece of the environment that isn't yours, you're going to wind up upset.
Yep. There you go. Thesis of the podcast episode right there.
I think we solved this
We
one,
solved
Shannon.
it.
I
We
think this is the
did.
first time you and I have ever like really just put one to bed.
Yep.
No open-ended questions. We were right about everything.
I agree. I agree. And if you guys don't, you're
You're
wrong.
wrong. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
Sorry. So D's nuts. I can't
You like
say it.
you
I
like
say
saying
it.
it, don't you? These nuts.
I don't even know how to use it in a sentence. So D's nuts. Like,
I'm
how do
part of
I
D's nuts army.
D's
These
nuts?
nuts rise up.
D's nuts.
Knowing the small exposure to the listener base that I have had of just people who have had conversations with me through social media and everything else, I think those people will love this.
I think so too. I hope so. We'll see you
I'm
guys.
campaigning for it. I would love it if somebody could think of something better, but that's a tall order, folks.
If Jakey thinks that's the right one, I don't know, guys.
It's a high bar. Somebody
It's a
beat
high
it.
bar. Exactly. Well, stay tuned for season 2 and
Season
you'll
2.
you'll
Oh
find
shit.
out. Season 2. I'll see you guys
Ba-dum,
in
bum, bum,
January.
bum, 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 bum,
Bow,
bum.
bow,
Bow, no, no,
bow.
no. I tried to do
That
the
was beautiful.
Yeah, the first one I just smacked myself in the face, so I had to do it again.
Do it again. Well, watch on YouTube, guys. You can see Jake smack himself in the face.
Yeah, if you, I already know I made a really dumb face when I did it. So go ahead, get your pause button ready,
I'll clip it.
please. Yeah,
I'll make a meme out of it.
that one will do numbers for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on my 1-year anniversary episode podcast.
Literally anytime. I'm so proud of you. You're killing it.
Thank
It's
you.
this is I always love listening to this, and you're just like I said at the top of this, you are one of my favorite people in the whole world. So just keep doing
Oh
what you're
my
doing.
God. Well, you're mine, Jakey T. Thank you so much. And you guys, I'll do some mini episodes in December and then season 2, baby.
Season 2.
So thank you so much for listening. And remember, you can't spell drama without D.
D's nuts.
D's nuts.